listening to Reality Wrap. I'm your host, Melanie. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show.
I already know for fact that Whitney does not have hard evidence on this. The blogger who she was getting this proof from, he reached out to me and explained to me what was going on and told me that he never said that Lisa was behind this. He thought it might be Lisa personally, but he had never been told that or given that information. And Whitney kept running with it as if she had this proof, when I'm being told by the person who supposedly gave her the proof the exact opposite.
I have a text message, too, that said it's Lisa.
From the person who published this thing?
No.
How firsthand is this?
It's secondhand.
I don't know Lisa to do this.
It was enough evidence for me, even secondhand. I trust this person more than I trust Lisa. And because of Lisa's history, I believe she's capable of it, for sure.
It's like par for the course, you know, like Whitney wants to like devastate friendships and make horrible accusations on a hunch. And the only thing that is her saving grace is that she does it equally to all of us. So we're just like, oh, the boy who cried wolf again.
So that was from the after show that they put out on YouTube. So now we also have Meredith saying that Up and Adam, she doesn't say that's who it is when she's talking about this, but she calls him the blogger. He reached out to her and told her the same thing, that he did not specifically say that he had any proof that it was Lisa. He personally thought it was Lisa, but he didn't tell Whitney that. And he did verify last week on his YouTube channel that Dana Wilkie did say that it wasn't Lisa Barlow.
He asked me to look into it and find out who it was. I reached out to Dana Wilkie. Dana Wilkie said it's not Lisa Barlow. Okay.
Dana Wilkie had also posted in her Patreon back when she first released this video months ago that she did not believe that it was Lisa Barlow. She actually thinks it's somebody else. Let me play you the clip that she just released on her YouTube channel just a couple of days ago. I'm going to speed it up because it's a little long.
In the scene that you see Adam and Whitney talking, a few things you need to know. Number one, they didn't promote Adam's channel. If you think I was being a see you next Tuesday to shed media, then you'd be wrong, because here's Adam offering a massive storyline moment in Salt Lake City, and they don't even have the decency to put a graphic up when Whitney says, you know, it's Adam, my friend Adam, influencer Adam, whatever Adam. It doesn't even bring up and Adam, and or, you know, something even in text underneath, or her say in the dialogue moment, Up and Adam, which would have helped him. I mean, it's really the only reason Adam would do it. Adam has like 200,000 people on his channel. I mean, Salt Lake City on episode 1, I think only got 400,000 downloads live. So, I mean, they're not that far apart. So I guess I'm trying to say, like, Adam should have gotten something for doing that, okay? That's number one. Number two, I want to also call out that Adam did that phone call with Whitney before we actually spoke about who it was. And that's probably because Whitney Rose pressured Adam before he could get a hold of me to tell him what she wanted to hear on the show. And Adam rolled with it, I'm gathering, because nobody else released the Alibaba gossip except for me. And that's because the person picked me very intentionally that actually wanted to call out Whitney Rose's business. Now, I know today you are dying for me to tell you who I think this cast member is. Why do I say think? Well, because this cast member tried to use a Finsta account to do it, but they did it in a way that I know who it is. The plot thickens. So I came up with a riddle for you to figure out who it is, because that's so much more fun than just saying it. All right, ready? This person was very angry behind the scenes at what Whitney Rose did on the show to them after they were so close. This person has ties to staff members that gossip and are known to gossip. And this cast member is the best researcher of gossip out of the whole cast. And that is saying something that I admire and respect them. And I know this firsthand. And this person is very strategic how they deliver information on the show and when to deliver information on the show. That usually helps with iconic scenes and storylines, and is the person that you would least likely expect to drop this tea.
So there you go. You have Up and Adam and Dana Wilkie both saying that neither of them ever implied that it was Lisa Barlow. Meredith is backing this up, saying Adam said the same thing to her. Who knows who the original person was that leaked this information to Dana? Dana has a pretty good idea of who it is. I personally am thinking that she thinks it's Heather because of the way she says this person used to be very close to Whitney. Obviously, Heather and Whitney, we had bad weather. They used to be close. They seem to be close this season as well, but last season they were not. Do I think it could be Heather? I do. I am with Mary Cosby. I think Heather leaves a trail of lies.
You sit on a throne of lies.
You know what I also find interesting about this whole thing is last season we had Monica being involved with the reality Von Tease, and then when they all found out about it, they refused to film with her this season and made this big stink about it. But here we are again. We have vloggers and bloggers and accounts all involved in this current season, and it's what's making this current season interesting. Just like last season. Last season was amazing, and it was all due to Monica, who was behind the reality Von Tease, or she was one of the people. And it just goes to show that I think every housewife across all the franchises leak information out to bloggers to get information out. I don't think any of them are innocent. All right, let's go ahead and get into the recap. Today I'm going to be recapping last night's episode of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 5, Episode 6. I thought this episode was amazing. The whole cast is firing on all cylinders. Angie is throwing a Mob Wives themed anniversary party for her and Sean's anniversary. They've been married for, I think it was like 25 years. I'm not sure where the connection is between Mob Wives and their anniversary. I imagine that Sean really did not have any input of the theme of this party, because I do not think he'd been like, yeah, Mob Wives, that's a great idea for our anniversary. It makes no sense, but here we are. She has this mob-looking guy come over to hand out all of her invitations. She's made posters of each lady for him to go and hang on their door. It was cute. Again, the theme of Mob Wives and an anniversary, I don't get it. Lisa and John are at home, and this guy comes and he knocks on the door, and they're shocked that they were even invited because she hasn't spoken to Angie since all that went down in Milwaukee. And then she found out that Angie inferred that she was a bad mom because all Henry does is game. And she tells John this in front of Henry. And I was like, oh, that's kind of sad. He didn't need to hear that. And he's like, Mom, you're a great mom. It was so sweet. Henry reminds them that it's the day they're supposed to FaceTime Jack, so they FaceTime Jack. Lisa tells us that they're still trying to figure out what's going on with his stomach. He's had all these tests, I guess, performed over in Colombia where he's at, and they still don't know what's going on with him, but they have ruled out some serious things, which makes her feel better, but understandably, she's stressed out because her son is sick and they can't figure out what's wrong with him. And then on top of that, he's in another country and she's not with him. And as a mother, that has got to be incredibly hard. Even though he's 18 and he's an adult, he's still her baby. So I totally get it. And now she's got Angie pretty much saying that she's not a great mom because she lets her youngest kid sit and play video games until 2 o'clock in the morning. Although now Angie's trying to twist it into this. I didn't say she was a bad mom. I was just saying that we had different parenting styles. Okay, Angie. Whitney and Meredith meet up to have a talk. Whitney apologizes to Meredith because she tells Meredith that she realizes that she didn't have anything to do with making up the rumor about her jewelry. And Meredith asks her who she thinks did, and she tells her Lisa, which of course Meredith then asks her, well, why do you think that? So Whitney tells her about the call with Adam, which we all know by now has been twisted around to fit the Lisa Barlow narrative. And I find it interesting that at first we had Whitney slandering Meredith, saying that Meredith was the one who started these rumors. Now she's going after Lisa. So are we all sensing a pattern yet? Whitney likes to throw shit at the wall to see what sticks. And she takes her suspicions or her feelings and she runs with them as fact when they are not fact. They're just her speculating. Meredith tells her that she thinks that she should talk to Lisa because she doesn't want to see Whitney go down this path and then later on find out it's not Lisa. Her saying this made me kind of wonder what exactly Meredith knows. We know that she's talked to Up and Adam because she talked about it in the after show. So who else is she talking to? Over at Mary's house, Mary is talking to Robert Jr., who I believe is with his wife. He's with this girl who's walking up the stairs with him. He's clearly on something, and you can see the concerned look on Mary's face as he's walking up the stairs. She knows, and I'm sure as a mother, she probably feels pretty helpless. Kicking him out of the house isn't an option because she does tell us in her talking head that at least he's at home. She knows what's going on, so she feels like she has some control over the matter, and I get that. At least least she can keep track of him when he's living in the house. But at the same time, she's kind of enabling him by giving him money, giving him a place to stay, letting his wife live there, who my guess is probably also doing drugs because they're hanging out together and they're married. So I don't know what the answer is. We all know now he's gone to rehab, so hopefully that's helped. I'm actually surprised that she allowed them to film him while he clearly was going through this drug addiction. Maybe she doesn't realize she's opening him up to a world of criticism on social media by allowing him to be filmed. I don't know. My heart goes out to her, though. She's in a difficult spot. Bronwyn comes over, and Bronwyn tells us that she felt bonded to Mary the first time she saw her wearing her Dolce & Gabbana coat when they met. Mary asks Bronwyn what she's been up to, and she starts to tell Mary about how she and Lisa figured out that Lisa is close to Gwen's grandparents on her dad's side that she doesn't have a relationship with. And Mary does probably one of the rudest things. She totally interrupts her story and then starts talking about how her son has never met her mom and dad either. It was super rude, but Bronwyn rolls with it, and she starts asking Mary about her mom. Mary tells us again that her mom was not a good mom and never bought food for her kids, even though they could afford it. They would open the fridge, and she said there was like cabbage and cranberry juice or something like that in the fridge. And that because she grew up in this way, that she has always made it a point to make sure that her son had everything and that she was this caring mom, which is probably also why she's not kicking him out of the house for being on drugs, was because she was influenced by the way she was raised and she wants to be there for her son. It's definitely interesting learning all this backstory about Mary, how you can see the way she grew up definitely molded the way she lives now. Bronwyn changes the subject and she tells Mary that she's excited for Angie's party, but she isn't sure about seeing Heather and that she is on the verge of being done with the bullshit. To which I say, Bronwyn, you better buckle up because the bullshit is not going to end. It will carry over from season to season to season, and you're only in your first season, so get ready, honey. Bronwyn tells Mary how Lisa had told her what Heather had told her about what Angie had said, basically implying that she's a bad mom. I mean, talk about a game of telephone. That was a lot. Mary points out how Heather always seems to be in the middle of all these situations and that she's two-faced, and tells her that she actually told Heather that back when they were ziplining. I have to say, I like these two together, and if they can gang up on Heather, that would be amazing for me. I do not like Heather, if you have not gathered that by now. It's now the day of Angie and Sean's anniversary party. Everything is decorated mob style. And what was weird about the whole thing is that there are these giant photos of Angie up and nothing of Sean, just a small photo of the two of them on the champagne bottles. Again, I don't think he had anything to do with this party. Over at Lisa's, she's going through all of her outfits, which are just different dresses, all while wearing fur. John is rolling with it, but he's definitely like, I don't care, just pick a dress, which my husband would be the same way. He would be like, yeah, that's great, wear that. Everyone starts to arrive, and I have to give it to all of these women. They all slayed the mob look. They all looked gorgeous. We find out that Sean did not want Meredith there because of the rumors that she was spreading last year about their marriage, but Angie went ahead and invited her. Just another point that this party is for Angie and not for her and Sean's anniversary. He tells her it's fine, that he'll support her. Meredith tells us in her talking head that she was surprised that she was invited after last year, but she's going to look at it as a step forward. But she also thinks the Mob Wives theme is weird for an anniversary. Thank you, Meredith, for that validation. Meredith tells Whitney that she needs to talk to Lisa tonight because she doesn't like being in the middle of it. And Whitney agrees. Not sure that someone's anniversary party is the place for it, but here we go. Brittany arrives with her date Aaron, and we find out that Heather also dated him at one time. Mary walks up to him and she's like, "Hi, Jared." And Brittany's like, "No, this is Aaron." And she walks away and she's like, "Oh, okay." She goes over to Meredith and she's like, "Who's that guy with Brittany?" Meredith tells her it's Aaron. And she's like, "No, it's Jared. That's his name." I'm not sure why she still thinks it's Jared because Brittany just told her that the guy's name was Aaron, but I guess she wasn't convinced. I don't know, because then her and Meredith pull up a photo of Jared off of Instagram or somewhere, and she's like, "Oh yeah, no, that doesn't look like that guy at all." I guess she needed to double check Brittany because she didn't believe Brittany that this guy's name was Aaron. I don't know. Angie makes a really nice speech telling everybody that she got married when she was 25 and they've been together for 25 years. years, despite the rumors and the nastiness. Nice little diss to Meredith. It was still sweet though, and thank God she did her speech when she did, because from this point on, the party gets kind of chaotic. A lot goes down the second half of this episode. We see Bronwyn talking to Angie, and she's telling her how she and Lisa were talking, and Lisa was very hurt by what Heather had repeated to her about Angie commenting on her parenting. Angie immediately says, I didn't say she was a bad mom, which I found interesting because that isn't what Bronwyn said. She said that Heather told her that Angie had commented on Lisa's parenting. Not that she said she was a bad mom, but Angie clocked it as that. So Angie either said that or she believes that's what Heather said. I just found that interesting. Bronwyn tells her that she feels like Heather starts little fires and stands back and watches them burn. Angie does say, I really didn't appreciate Heather doing that. And she feels like Heather is really up Lisa's ass right now, which she is. She basically lives up there. Bronwyn thinks that it's shitty that Heather would get in the middle of Angie and Lisa's relationship, considering their friendship is not in a good place. We now see Britani, who goes up to Lisa and she asks if they're good. Lisa's like, yeah, we're good. I wasn't the one who was mad at you. You were mad at me. Britani's like, we're good. I just felt like that FaceTime with Jared caused us to break up. And Lisa tells her, well, it needed to happen, which could not agree more. And I think that Lisa's actually being pretty nice to Britani over the whole thing, because Britani did essentially say that Lisa caused them to break up. And she really could have pointed out that they have literally broken up, what did she say, like 18 times, and that she was absolutely not the cause. The real cause is that Jared's a total piece of shit and was busted DMing Angie's brow girl, but no, Lisa's the reason they broke up. Like I said, Lisa was being very nice to her over the whole thing. And what's really surprising is in the after show, they have Britani and Lisa paired up. The pairings in that whole after show are very odd, the way they have everybody paired up. The only two that make sense are Mary and Angie. They have them paired up. Anyways, that was a sidetrack. Mary comes over to Lisa and Britani. Lisa asks her if they're good because she felt like Mary had jumped on her as well. And Mary tells her, well, you got involved when I was telling Heather that she was causing issues. At this point, now Heather walks up and she asks them what they're talking about.
Talking about our conversation when we were ziplining.
Yeah, everywhere you drop and everywhere you stop, it's a lie.
That's extremely hurtful.
Okay, well, I'm not saying
back it up.
then stop doing it.
Extremely
Then
hurtful.
stop doing it.
You tell me when I've lied.
Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
So if I tell you the truth, facts of you on you, you say it's a lie.
We're not gonna speak on the truth right now, okay?
Oh, don't push me. I have been a good friend to you.
Don't push me. You're a liar.
You're a liar. You guys,
wait a minute. We'll take it to God. Ask God.
God knows.
Yeah, he does know. And he knows all about you. Whatever I say behind your back, I say it to your face.
That's not honorable. To say horrible, mean things to my face, that I do that?
I do.
I don't do that.
And that's fine.
Name a time that I've been bad to you.
Name a time you've been good to me. I don't do things to you guys.
But she's been horrible to me, and I didn't forget.
Can I just express how I feel and you just accept it?
I mean, I thought we were in a good place, and then you came at me ziplining, like all these things that you felt like it was pent up, and I just came out of left field, and I thought we were in such a good place.
Okay, all I'm saying.
I really did.
All I'm saying is how I felt.
Do you feel like you've said everything you need to say to both me and Heather?
Yeah, I guess. I got it out.
Should we do a group hug?
Okay, so I've got a couple things to say here. Now, I understand Heather's frustration with Mary when she's like, what have I ever done to you? We all have seen in the past that Mary has said some very horrible things about Heather. To Heather, about Heather. She said she was inbred. All kinds of things, right? So Mary didn't really help herself when she was like, name something I've done to you. She literally deflected when Heather asked, what did I do to you? She turned it back around. Now, that being said, Heather tells her that she feels like Mary came at her when they were ziplining, when in reality, she was just sticking up for Angie by saying that she feels like Heather is being two-faced by listening to Angie and then going and turning around and telling Lisa what Angie said about her. Mary was just telling her what she is seeing. Heather is interfering between Lisa and Angie, and that she's not being a very good friend to Angie. I think that Mary's fully within her right to tell Heather that and interfere, because Heather's interfering between Lisa and Angie. After this argument, Mary goes and sits next to I think it was Electra and then maybe her friend or her cousin or somebody. They were clearly like 14-year-old girls. And she starts telling them about her argument. And it was so awkward. And these girls were just sitting there looking at her like, why are you telling this? And Mary was totally oblivious to the fact that they were uncomfortable. Oh, she cracks me up. We see Heather and Angie talking, and Angie brings up how she didn't appreciate Heather running to Lisa and telling Lisa that Angie thinks she's a bad mom. That was not her intention. Heather tells her that she was absolutely making comments about Lisa's parenting, which we did see in the flashback, and that is what it looked like, that she was essentially saying that Lisa wasn't a good mom because she lets Henry play video games till 2 o'clock in the morning. And she feels like something has shifted in Angie. And Angie tells her, I feel like you're picking sides and that you are taking everything I say and you're running to Lisa with it. They go over to talk to Bronwyn and discuss with her about what she said. And Heather's like, why are you getting involved in my friendship with Angie? Which is so funny because, again, Heather is getting involved between Angie and Lisa's friendship. So Bronwyn's not really doing anything different. I guess you could say that Heather, Lisa, and Angie have been friends longer than Bronwyn and Angie, but still kind of the same thing. Bronwyn calls Heather out and tells her that she likes to manage everybody's relationships. And then Heather looks at Angie and she's like, I can't believe you would trust what she's saying over our friendship. And she walks away. I guess Bronwyn hit a touchy spot with Heather because Heather does try to manage everybody's friendships, especially Lisa Barlow's. Heather does not want anyone else to be close to Lisa Barlow because she's so desperate to be Lisa Barlow's friend. Bronwyn has Heather's number and Heather does not like that. We now get to the part that seems so odd. So the party's going on and suddenly Jared comes walking in and Brittany gasps and she covers her mouth. A way over the top reaction for a 50-year-old. Everyone is standing there and is like, who invited him? Why is he here? Finally, Whitney cops up to Justin inviting him. These two are so messy. Clearly, they knew he was coming way before they pretended to text him and tell him to stop by because he shows up and he's in a suit. And why would you invite somebody to somebody else's anniversary party? It's super rude. But you know what? It's not out of line for these two. They did pretend to have marriage problems last season, so Whitney had something to talk about. They are scripted and fake, just like Whitney's Alibaba jewelry. We see Brittany and she is crying and her date is sitting there kind of like, what the hell is going on? What did I get myself into? Bronwyn looks at Brittany and she's like, are you okay? What do you need? Do you need a hug? And Brittany just looks at her like desperate and sad. So Bronwyn begrudgingly hugs her because she knows what Brittany is doing, that she's totally playing this up. Lisa decides she's had enough of this and she's like, Brittany, we're going to go over and talk to him and you're going to end this. So she goes over to him and she asks if he wants to go sit outside. And he's like, yeah. So they go out there and she's like, what are you doing here? And he's like, I really like the way the charcuterie board looked, or something stupid along those lines. I was like, oh my God, I do not like this man. He tells her that he didn't come to cause drama. He came because he missed her. So you couldn't tell her that in private? You had to come to this party that you weren't invited to? We know why you came. You came because you knew they were filming. And once again, we have another guy who wants to get on the show, so he connects himself to a housewife so he can be on TV. So she's crying and he's like, do you want me to leave? And she tells him no. And in her talking head, she tells us that she doesn't need these grand gestures from him. She just wants him to be there for her. And I was like, oh my God. She isn't really buying all of this, is she? Certainly she's not this dumb. Anyway, she goes back in and she finds her date, Adam. I think that was his name, right? She asks if he's okay and he's like, yeah, I'm fine. And she's crying and she's like, I wasn't expecting that. I'm so sorry. I'm so emotional. And I'm sure he went home and he lost her number because he was like, okay, I could see crazy. We now see Whitney go up to Lisa to talk, and she asks her if she knew that she left her necklace behind when they were in Milwaukee. And Lisa's like, yeah, it was an accident. But Lisa was so fidgety and looking side to side. She looked super uncomfortable. She was clearly lying. And really, who cares? Whitney did try to come in between her and Meredith on that trip when she and Angie went to Meredith and were like, don't you remember all the bad things that Lisa did to you? So I don't really blame her. Who wants her Alibaba jewelry anyway? Whitney tells her, I talked to somebody who told me that you were the one who made up the Alibaba stuff. Lisa tells her that it wasn't her and that she feels like Whitney's accusing her of that. And Whitney's like, no, I'm just asking you if you did it. And she's like, well, it feels like you're accusing me. And Whitney tells her, well, we did narrow it down to you.
Thing to do with me.
That you planted
I am
it,
so.
and I want you to know how.
Who is it? Because I'm going to sue him. Tell me who said it. I'm going to sue him because it's a lie. You trust that person, but not me. I didn't do it to you. Shut the up about that. I didn't do it to you. Shut the up about your lies.
Why do I
Give
have
me a
to-
name. Give me a name. I'm calling Sean. I'm living. I'm
How do you
living.
think I feel?
I don't know how you feel because you're making it up.
Potentially one of my
You're
friends
making
went
it up.
and
Hold on.
bashed my business.
Hold on, give me names right now. We're going to investigate
not
every
do that.
one of them. Oh, no. I'm going to... Hey, Sean, I need an investigation opened. I'm being accused of doing something I did not do. I'm going to send you information, and I want to go the distance on it. The distance. Whitney's accusing me of doing something I did not do, so I want you to get the police involved, because it's my character. I want you to get the police involved and go the distance on this. Get the LA police involved, everything, and Salt Lake police. And you owe me a big apology. And I'm going to send you a bill.
The way Lisa was freaking out, she was cracking me up. Could you imagine her going to the police and telling them that a blogger is starting a rumor about her and that she wants it investigated? I'm dead. I'm like, the cops are going to look at her and be like, ma'am, we have better things to do than to investigate a rumor from a blogger. At this point, Lisa's walking around and ranting, and she's saying that Whitney is a liar. Somebody on the after show, I think it was Meredith, said that she was walking around for like 20 minutes saying that Whitney was a liar.
I mean, Lisa had been saying that for like 20 minutes.
That's not any secret.
I wasn't sure at what point, Justin clued in.
Sorry, it was Heather, not Meredith. Anyway, so she goes up to Justin and she's telling him that his wife is a liar. And he's like, don't call my wife a liar. John decides to get involved and tell Justin to stop yelling at his wife. Now, in Justin's defense, Lisa started yelling at him. How do you deal with this? Your wife is a liar first, but he shouldn't have engaged. He should know better. We see John kind of hold up his hand to Justin to say, stop coming at my wife. And Justin says, I'm going to pound this guy. And they pan over to poor Sean, who just had his mob wife themed anniversary party ruined. Oh, the humanity of it all. The episode ends on a to be continued of the fight between John and Justin. So that'll be interesting to see next week. I hope they don't really fight. It does look like Lisa and Whitney kind of get in the middle of it and stop it. I thought this episode was so good. There was so much going on. There are so many storylines going on and fights going on. This season is really starting to ramp up to be pretty good. So I'm getting excited. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys for The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City this week. I'll be back next week, so have a great weekend. Bye.